How can you better handle questions and answers in your next speech or presentation? Hi, I'm Tim Barnaby. I'm a certified world-class speaking coach. I help business professionals speak, lead, and succeed in their careers and their life. This week, I want to share with you my experience with regards to questions and answers in your speech or presentation. Now, I have to admit, this actually happened to me this week in a presentation that I was given, which is part of the reason why I'm creating this speaking tip. Not only help you, but to remind me of what I'm supposed to do. So let me set the scene. I was doing a sales pitch to a group of Toastmasters, and I had created all of the elements that I had to for the pitch. And then at the end, I added in, do you have any questions? Now, 90% of the speakers who are out there will follow this pattern. They will end their speech or presentation with the question and answers. Is there anything wrong with this? No, not at all. However, if you want to make an impact on your next speech or presentation, you don't want to end on the Q&A portion. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, you really want to be memorable on stage, and you want the last words that you state to be what your audience takes away. Whether it's the inspiring quote, the new thought that you're offering to them, perhaps there's a call to action that you've asked them to take. And if you've done all of that and then asked for questions and answers, and the Q&A portion gets a little off topic, or no questions are even asked, people are just remembering you standing in front of them as your audience asking, does anyone have any questions? Are you sure nobody has any questions? I'm here if you want to ask any questions. So, how could you avoid this problem? Well, here's one thing that you could do. Now, I've spoken before about roadmap. And so in your roadmap introduction, when you're letting the audience know what it is that you're speaking about, you could even introduce to them the concept of Q&A. I'm going to be speaking about my specific points. It's probably going to take about 30 minutes. At that time, I'm going to allow 5 to 10 minutes of time for you to ask any questions that you may have. And at the conclusion of my Q&A portion, I will wrap up my presentation. Now, can you see how that would make a difference? That you've let your audience know there's going to be a specific section at about the 30-minute mark where I can ask questions. Great. And then you know how long it's going to take, when it's coming up, and that your audience knows exactly when they can raise their hand. So give this a try. If you're adding Q&A into your speeches and presentations, make sure that the next one that you deliver, you actually put it before you conclude. Whether, again, it's your biggest point, the call to action, whatever it is that you want the audience to take away, put that with the last few minutes that you have at the end, and inject your Q&A section right before it. That way you can announce that it's now time for your audience to ask you questions, and you can answer them as freely and openly as you wish. There may not be any questions at that time, in which case you can go straight into your conclusion and wrap up. And then let the audience know if they wanted to come up and speak to you one-on-one after the presentation, they could certainly do that as well. So let me know how this goes for you. On your next speech or presentation, inject your Q&A portion into the portion of your speech or presentation before your main point to conclude with, or your concluding story. And write some comments below. Let me know how it goes. How did you feel? Did you feel that the presentation ended differently? Did you have better results as a point of the call to action? Did you find that the audience members took that action more readily than had they taken it in the past when you had your Q&A as the last part of your speech or presentation? Well, that's it for this week. I hope you found this tip enjoyable and useful, and I look forward to sharing more speaking tips with you very soon. But until then, here's to your speaking success.